Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to show you an easy way to tan a deer hide. So for this tanning process, I used the alum and the borax method. This was my first time tanning a hide and it ended up okay. So once I got the hide all fleshed out, so that means to take all the fat and the membrane off the hide itself, so you're just left with the skin and the hair. I started to rinse the hide in the bucket, which is what I'm showing you now. Just to get the dirt and extra debris that the hide would have picked up when you took it off the animal. So after this step, you should be left with a nice clean hide without any flesh, fat or membrane ready to be strung up on the frame. Before you string the hide up around the frame, you need lots of little holes as close as you can get to the edge of the hide as you can. To do this, I just used an old screwdriver, a soft bit of wood, and I've just gone around the hide and made holes about 10 centimeters apart, which left me plenty of room to tie the hide up properly. So now that you've got lots of little holes around the whole hide, you're going to want to start tying it to the frame. In doing this, you need one piece of string per hole. That's the way I did it, but there is another way where you need one really long piece of string that you put through the hole, wrap around the frame, and then put through the other hole below the hole you just threaded it through. In doing that, you just tension each piece as you go along, and you end up with a nice tight hide. So I've since learned that is a better way to do it than the way I've done it in this video. So next hide I get, that's the way I'll do it. This way still worked fine though. But yeah, just something to keep in mind. So as this was the first time I've tanned a hide, I think I've learnt a lot during this process. Look, I ended up with a nice finished product, but going forward, there are some things that I'll do differently. This was a dry tanned hide, I guess you could call it. So I've put the chemicals on dry, which still worked. There's no hair slippage at the end, but I've seen another way you use borax and alum in a wet solution, so you dilute them in water, and the hides look like they come out softer at the end of that process. So here's the hide all tied up to the frame. You can see I've used the one piece of string per hole, which ended up with a nice tight hide on the frame, but I am looking forward to giving that other method a go, where you use the one long piece for the whole hide. So this is the hide with the paste already applied. So basically what I did was made a paste of borax and alum. This is actually a pool cleaning product that you can get from Bunnings. It's just aluminium sulfate, basically just a salt that works for the tanning process. Yeah, I found it pretty easy to get at Bunnings. I think it was maybe $20 for a 2 kilo bag. But you can get aluminium sulfate online as well. So I've just made a paste of 1:1 in a container that you don't mind throwing out, and then you just make a paste the consistency that works well enough to spread. You don't want it too dry where it won't spread, and you don't want it too wet that it runs off the hide. So here's the hide with the paste applied for a second time. So I've done 2 coats, scraped the paste off after 1 day and applied a second coat. This is 5 days with the second coat. So here's the hide ready to be cut away from the frame. I found that 2 coats of the paste was enough. Gave me a nice clean dry hide. It was my first time, so I didn't really know what I was doing, but it ended up working. So if I was to use this method again, I think I'm just going to use the 2 coats instead of the 3 or 4. But like I said, in the future I think I'm going to just try the wet tanning method. So here I am just going along cutting out the stencil that I drew on the hide with a piece of chalk. This was a good way just to mark up the final pattern you want your hide to be. Made it a lot easier to guide the Stanley knife around the hide with as well. So as you can see, I tried to keep the design as centered as I could, and it ended up looking pretty good, I think. So here's the hide off the frame. It's been cut off and rinsed. I've rinsed it with a pressure washer just because that paste was quite dry and there was still a fair bit on there when it was cut off. So this will be the final shape for the rug. I like it. I think it shows a bit of character to the hide still. You can still see the white underbelly and a few of the spots still come through. Just going through that bullet hole there. That's the exit hole, and you can see the exit hole knocked off quite a bit of hair, which I thought was pretty interesting. So I'm pretty happy with the final shape of it. It's not too off-centered. So I found that a nice little rinse with the pressure washer after it's been cut down from the frame worked really well at just getting any last little bit of dried membrane or the borax and aluminium sulfate mixture off. So now I've pretty much got a finished product. I left it to dry a little bit longer after this. I just hung it up on a improvised drying rack, and it dried up pretty well. It did end up being quite firm though, so that's why I think going forward I will use the wet tanning solution, where you basically just fill up a bucket of water with the same chemicals and let it sit in that. After this, I did give it a wash with some shampoo and conditioner just to take any of the remaining smell out. So here it is drying after its wash in the shampoo and conditioner, just to pretty much strip dry for a day or two, and after that it was ready to go. So here's the finished deer hide after it dried out a little bit. Really happy with how this one turned out, and I think it's a great way to remember a hunting trip or a deer you managed to get. Look forward to making plenty more hides in the future. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.